Untitled Chapter, we use stories to define everything that everything that the system is going to need to do, and all of the requirements. We don't deal with monolithic requirement documents. We don't get one big document that was designed by committee that comes down, and we have to design to that specifics, to that spec. Instead, we work on little pieces of functionality at a time, and we deliver these multiple times a day. The client gets a notification that a feature has been delivered. They check it out, and instantaneously they can accept it or reject it. So if we did something and we screwed up the acceptance criteria, we know it very quickly, and we can just go back and fix it, redeploy, and then that feature's done.
So the idea is, you don't make a big document, you tell little stories. You have the customer tell teeny little stories, and each one of those is like a miniature contract. And each one of those, it's up to the customer to say, oh, you got it right, I accept that, I will pay you for that. Now, we use stories to drive tests. We do a lot of testing, so testing is going to be the next few slides here. Those are integrals, I believe, from my calculus days. But what integration means is these are high-level tests, integrating the whole system from top to bottom, from the web page you see all the way down to the low-level database that it's talking to. And lately we're automating this process. So we get our customers to express something in English. We talk them through this story writing process. We will actually write down their requirements in English, and we can process that English. We can process those lines into running code. Can't show you an example, but we can talk about it later. What else? Oh, we do tests at the high level, but we're also writing low-level tests. We talked about models, views, and controllers. Well, there's model tests, there's controller tests, and there's also view tests to test what the thing looks like. Do you have anything to add on that one, or you want to do the next one?
Let's move on. I don't know what the next one is. Test-driven development, right? Yeah, so at the high level, we make sure that our site's doing everything we want to, and then at the lower level, we write tests. So yeah, TDD, test-driven development. You want to write a failing test, red, and then you want to write a passing test, green, and then after you have
well, you write code to make that test pass.
Yes.
So your system's running green. You write a failing test to express the next piece of functionality you want to implement.
And then once that test is passing, and you know that the code that implements the feature works, and there's a test to cover it, you can feel free to refactor.
Refactor just means reorganize the code, change how it's factored. It's the analogy to the factoring of prime numbers, like 2 times 2 times 3 is what, 12? You could also say 4 times 3, but 4 times 3 maybe isn't as efficient as saying 2 times 2 times 3. It all depends. I know it's abstract. We'll get to it. We can talk about it later.
But you can feel free to refactor as much as you want, as long as you have test coverage, because if you screwed up your refactoring, your tests are going to fail. That's the important part. We do our tests with RSpec. There are a few different testing frameworks around in Rails.
Oh, let's jump in right now. Is anyone here doing Rails at all? Is anyone going to be interested? Anyone? Hand? Couple? 2, maybe? All right. Well, we'll go over them quickly then. But we just want to mention the actual technologies we're using in case you were curious what we're actually using if you want to try it out. So we do RSpec. RSpector is like auto test. It's every time you change a line of code, it notices, and it will run the tests that apply to just that code. It doesn't rerun your whole test suite. It's just very focused.
We use Cucumber for our integration tests, and these are the plain text stories that get written down. We write acceptance criteria in plain text, and then we have a parser for that plain text, which will take the text and run a test based off of the acceptance that we wrote down in our Cucumber test.
Yeah, it's actually you have a mapping layer that will map English to little chunks of code that express tests. It's really cool. I recommend you check it out. Anything else? Oh, this output on the right is an example of RSpec output. I know it's small and you can't read it, but every one of those green lines actually represents a few lines of test code, and the green stuff there is just English, and that can be read by both your fellow developers and your clients and stakeholders. So it's a place to meet in the middle.
So red, green, refactor, literally.
Yeah, usually it's green, hopefully.